Hello and good morning. It's good to see you again, and welcome to this edition of Grace Extended. Grace Extended is a podcast ministry, of course, of Grace Methodist Church here in Conway, Arkansas, and we're so excited to just share our church services and other things, ministries of our church. For those of you who may be watching us online or wanting to get connected, we want you to have the experience of not only watching us online, but to get an understanding of what we're doing as a church community and as a family of faith. We are now kind of in a new series kind of thing that we're doing where we want to just give you a little snippet and a background of our church staff. And so today I have the pleasure of having with me Barrett Kelley. Barrett is the director of music here at Grace, covers both our traditional and our contemporary services, and we're very excited to have someone with his caliber of talent and his love of the Lord. Barrett, welcome to this
Thank
edition
you.
of the
Thank you.
podcast.
Glad to be here.
And so, as I said, we are just trying to allow those of you who are watching a better understanding to see a little bit about our staff. And so, Barrett, if you would, I mean, just tell everybody where you grew up and kind of what brought you maybe to music or to the church or whatever. Just share however the Lord leads you.
Yeah, I was raised by a great family in Walnut Ridge, Arkansas, Northeast Arkansas, and had great parents. Um, I just think they're the best people who loved me. And I had an older sibling, an older brother, and then a younger brother and a younger sister. So three boys and a girl. And I was raised in the church. I was raised in a Presbyterian church setting. I was, what do you call that? Devoted to the church, given to the church. How do you say that? Baptized when I was an
Mm-hmm.
infant, dedicated to the church, and uh, and had a great childhood. And Walnut Ridge is a really small town, really safe town, right up around Jonesboro. Um, It's on the other side of Bono and Jonesboro. It's kind of on either side there. And got introduced to a lot of extracurricular stuff when I was a kid. My parents pretty much let me just kind of pick whatever I wanted to do, and I had fun doing it. But I got into piano when I was 6, and I just really, really loved it. And all three of me and my brothers all were taking lessons. Well, they dropped off pretty quick. I mean, within like a couple of years or something like that. And what it turned into was I just started taking over their lessons and take. So I would take like an hour block of lessons or something like that. And because I just loved it, and they raised me listening to classical music, stuff like Chopin and stuff like that. And so I was just introduced to really, really good music from a young age. And I think I always liked the complexity of it and the beauty that was to be found in that complexity.
Mm-hmm.
And it always just kind of blew my mind that somebody could actually compose something like so intricate and put order into reality in a musical way and create beauty like that. And from as young as I can remember, I was willing to like sacrifice my time and my body, my energy, the discomfort involved in in order to learn complex musical material and stuff like that. And I learned Beethoven by the time I was learning Beethoven by the time I was 8, and I was learning, Mozart by the time I was like 9. Just I went straight for the biggest heavy hitting composers that I could, and so and then I was playing in church and stuff like that. Um, and I didn't really start leading in church until much later. But yeah, music has been with me my whole life. And I learned to play every other instrument when I was in high school band. Um, I think I went into high school band at age 12, and I started learning the saxophone. And the saxophone is actually probably my second or third favorite instrument to play. I play them all, but I love the saxophone, and I love playing the drums. That was probably the next instrument I think that I started learning when I was about 14. And I love drumming and singing. That's one of my favorite things to do. I actually probably like drumming and singing more than I do playing the piano and singing because it's so much simpler. But God has led me with music my whole life. You know, when whatever hard times came, the only two things that have stuck with me, well, my family, the three things was music, family, and God. And you know, I think that the scripture, to whom much is given, much is required, it can kind of mean a couple of different things. But to me, in a sense, what that means is that, like, to if you have kind of a depth, if you know, like me, heightened negative emotion a majority of the time, and you know, if you're given a lot of depth, I guess you could say, for positivity or negativity, maybe you require more talent to offset maybe the hard times, to have something to cling to or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I feel about it. And my depth for music and musical ability and all that stuff, um, has sustained me even through the hardest times. And so that's quite a bit of my musical background.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. Uh, Barrett, before coming here, this is kind of your first real church,
Mm-hmm.
for lack of a
Absolutely.
better term, church job or
Absolutely.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, tell me a little bit. Uh, how have you found that? How does that affect your your spirituality or whatever? Has that drawn you closer, or has that impacted you being able to be an employee at the church?
Um, it's impacted me greatly. I mean, I feel like an immense amount of responsibility. Um, you know, to be a true and real person for one thing, and to, you know, it has helped me in more ways than I can ever describe. Um, you know, in a lot of ways, I almost don't feel worthy of leading people a lot of the time. You know, um, because I'm such a work in progress. But you know, it's a privilege to get to do what I do, and I'm more than happy to do what I do and give it my all, and I love it. I love it.
Oh, Barrett, we're blessed by you, and the truth is, we're all works in progress.
Yeah.
We'll never be finished
Yeah.
until we're standing at the feet of Jesus, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we're so thankful to have you here and to have your leadership and to have you just in the position that you're in. So, again, as we've said in some of these other staff-related videos, this is just kind of a snippet into the background of our staff. If you, of course, would like to know more, all of our staff is open to any kind of personal conversation that you would want to have, and just sharing our faith journey and our life journey, the road that has led us to where we are at this place where we can really work for Christ. And so, Barrett, thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for being here,
Thank you. Thank you.
and just happy. We're looking forward to all that the Lord is going to continue to do. He's done great things, and He's going to do even greater things. We want to thank you again for tuning in to this edition of Grace Extended. It is our goal and our hope as a church family that we can share with you the love that we have experienced through Jesus Christ and through the callings of the ministries that we have. And so we look forward to continuing to share some of our other staff stories, and to also hopefully be able to connect in a relationship with you as well. God bless you, and thank you for tuning in. Barrett, thank you again.
Sir, thank
And we
you.
hopefully will see you all on the next edition of Grace Extended.